Hey, so I just noticed that someone watched a video that I did once on Stream Deck and had a few questions. So I thought it would be a good time to just build some Stream Deck from scratch so that you can be more efficient in Chief Architect. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. See, that's how they would normally do it. You'd start with an intro and then you'd get into your video. But I'm just gonna start. That's how I do it. Because I don't have the skill to make it look all polished. So, toolbars and hotkeys. So if you look to the right, see all these numbers? Active, defaults, and I go 5014. I went through my hotkeys, and this took a while. And I numbered every single hotkey. So let's go look at them. Customize hotkeys. So as you can see, people are going to go like, how are you going to remember those numbers? Well, let me explain a couple things that I learned along the way. If you have a keyboard shortcut that makes sense, like some people like to use E for open object, and that doesn't mean anything to me. My mind would say open object. How about OO? So that's what I did. But for example, the default in Chief for add a break is the number 3. But what happens is if you use the number 3, just one digit, you cannot use any combination of 3 anywhere else because you've only used one place and that owns everything that's 3. So if you had like 311, it would say, no, you're in conflict with this one. So if you wanted to use any more numbers that started with a 3, you'd have to go like 2-digit, 3-digit, or 4-digit so that you could have that option. But if you just leave it as 1 digit, and that's why using one letter, like if you, let's say you use the word W, or the letter W, then you're going to have a problem. You can't use that W anywhere else. So if you had, let's say you wanted to go WI for Windows and WA for walls, well, then you'd be fine because you're using 2-digit. But then if you came in and you used a W somewhere, it would conflict if it was just by itself, just the single W. So that's where like rectangle, I do RR, I could do RP, but a lot of times I've already got my finger on that button. And so hitting it and not having to move, because P is all the way across the keyboard on the other side. So RR for rectangle. Here's one, CC, center object. I just remember C for center, and I just hit it twice. But what I did here, you see this, I started at 5,000, and I went into Excel. I exported this entire list, and then I went into Excel, and I started at 5,000, and I just, whatever that's called, fill down until I ran out of numbers. And that's how I knew there was over 1,000 options. And then I came in here, and it took a while to open one up, take this, type in the number, hit assign, and go to the next one, type in the number, hit assign. But now every single shortcut has a number equivalent. And that's where I can put Stream Deck to use. So there's some things you're going to leave, like copy and paste. That's universal across all platforms, all systems. Cut. I'm just scrolling through here real quick to see what jumps out at me. EE for explode, and I use BB for block. See if that's even in here. Huh. Well, maybe it's not, maybe it's CAD block. I don't know. Anyways, BB is block, EE is explode or unblock. Yeah, save. See, there's a lot of these that you're not going to, and some people that don't use a Mac, they've never seen that, that command symbol. It's like a freeway cloverleaf. I left the number 2, join roof planes, because that's default from Chief, and it's just too easy to just leave it. 2 and 3 I use a lot. And that's why I started with 5,000, because I needed to start far enough up the number chain that it wasn't going to cause any grief. And my real goal was I wanted the shortcuts to be similar in SketchUp and Chief, because I use both. There's BB, make CAD block. All right, so enough of this going down this list. You can see that I've got all these numbers. And then, so when you go up into your tools, you're going to see these numbers next to some of these commands. And that means you have a shortcut for every one of these if you want it. Now, in Stream Deck world, let's just take a look. Like, I use copy in place a lot. I try to make all the tools that I'm going to use a lot down in the bottom left. Let's make this bigger. Because my Stream Deck, my left hand is next to the Space Mouse and the Stream Deck. And so I use copy in place an awful lot. I'll show you why that is. Let's say we just put a cabinet right here. And I can highlight the cabinet. I got to move this though so you can see it. And then I'm going to, actually on the actual 32 button Stream Deck, I'm going to push this button on the physical Stream Deck. Okay, so now it's there, and then I can just grab it and move it. Or, let's see here, let's delete that. Or another one like multi-copy. That's a good one. And these are all buttons that are down here. Like here, I'll show you multi-copy. I would highlight this. I would come down here. I would go to this one with the arrow, click on that. Then I got to come over here and I got to tell it the spacing. And I want it to be 24. And then I hit OK. So you see all those steps? And now I can just drag this out 24 inches. Boom, 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 boom. Or with one button push, and let me show you what multi-copy looks like. Multi-copy is, first of all, it puts in that number that goes down to that link. And then there's a little bit of a delay I put in because I've noticed that if I make it too quick, Chief doesn't have time to acknowledge the request. And then this is the number that tells it to open up the window that has the how you want to set your increment. So that's how that all works. So I'm going to push this multi-copy now. And you'll see, instead of me having to go down here, click this, then come up here and type in, what I'm going to do is push one button and this will be ready to go. So I'm going to go like this, highlight all this. I'm going to push that button. Ready? 3, 2, 1, push. It goes straight to that window. See that? I didn't have to do anything. And then I'm going to say 48. Enter. Boom. So there's that kind of speed. One that I use a lot also is to intersected versus contained. And those, I assigned a number. You can assign whatever letter you want, whatever number. So that's the first thing, is you have to decide what keyboard keys do you want to use, and try not to run out of options. Like if you did a 2-button, let's see, there's 26 letters, and some of those are already used. And then if you went 2 buttons, that's 26 times 26. So you start getting a little more options. But I always try to do stuff that makes sense. So if I highlight this window and I use OO, it opens up the open objects. And that makes sense to me because it's open objects, OO. Now, some people like to keep their left hand on the left half of the keyboard. I don't really care about that. I'm not that, like, touch typing doesn't work with me. So I don't mind looking down and hitting OO. And then there's a setting you can turn on in Chief's preferences that will always return you to the same screen of this dialog box. So if you're going through and you're putting in labels, and like, if you notice right here, this is really good. This is a macro that I bought from a guy who goes by the handle of Alaskan Sun. And he sent a custom, an Arial font that has superscript built into it somehow. He did all that. And then he wrote the code so that, because this is how, when I was framing back, when I started framing in 89, all the plans were written where it was 3050, and it was just like this. So there was no confusion, because Chief's default is goofy. I've had people say, so these windows are 30 inches by 50 inches, because there's no differentiation. You have to figure out. So I would like Chief to just go ahead and buy the rights from Alaskan Sun and just incorporate this in their labeling system, because this works for doors and windows. That's how you get this good looking thing here. I don't always use the symbol from the schedule. Some people like that. I just happen to have this as my default template. I can turn all this off. But here, we'll go 00, and we'll go to label. And there it is again. And I added the term %hinge_side%. And then it adds the hinge side. And if you don't know, you put your back against a hinge, and whichever arm swings the door open, that's the side. That's how I was taught. So this is a right swing door. And we're going to go back to this window. I'm just going to double click it now instead of hitting 00. And look, it takes me right back to the labels page. And that setting is somewhere up here. I'm not going to be able to find it really fast. I just know it. But behaviors, maybe, I don't know. It's somewhere in here. You'll be able to find it. You just got to go through all this stuff. And one of these will say, open back to the same spot, or it doesn't say that, but it's something like that. So let's work on the Stream Deck. Let's say I want, what was something that I was doing the other day that I thought would be useful? Well, sometimes, so here's another thing. This is my primary screen on the 32 button. But if you want to really go nuts, get an old iPad that you're not using and get the mobile account. It's $50 lifetime for a Stream Deck. And then look at this. You can have, I don't know what this is, 6x8, I guess. The maximum you can have is 8x8 squares or button options. I'm trying to remember, how do I change that? There's a way to make that happen. But and in an iPad, you can have split screen, so you can actually have two of these. So really, you could have 128 buttons on your screen. Now, they're going to get kind of small, so you might accidentally hit the wrong thing. But you could just put an iPad up on a stand. You won't have that tactile clunk clunk feeling that you get with a real Stream Deck, but you'll save yourself some money because you're only paying $50 one time. And when you buy these hardware Stream Decks, some of them are kind of expensive, like $250, $300. So I didn't know that until I watched a guy called Nutty. So if you do a search on YouTube for Nutty Stream Deck, he's a guy from, I think he's in Australia, but he does all kinds of Stream Deck stuff. It's pretty cool. But since I have the 32 and the 15, here's the 15. And let's see. I've only got really 2 profiles set up on this. Oh yeah, so I could start and stop my screen recording. I could take screenshots. Yeah, this was kind of cool. That's called Capture. And this is exactly what you see, what I'm seeing right now on my physical item. And so I use this a lot too. Like if I'm going to edit all the windows, let's see here. Let's just do it like, I'll click a window. And then I will, how do I get to that? You know what? I'm going to close all these. They're back here. These three right here at the top, those were like, see that? And then it's gone. Okay. So that way I can have this open and this open at the same time. So let's say I want to edit all the windows for whatever reason. I click on one, and then I'm going to click this where it says select all. And what that's doing is actually coming down here. I got to find that. There it is. This button right here. Clicking that. Then it's clicking this circle button. And now it's captured all the windows. But I had to move my mouse, click once, and get all that. So let's uncheck that. Now I'm just going to click this, and on the physical Stream Deck, I'm going to push 3, 2, 1, boom, and boom. It just grabbed them all. So I've increased my efficiency by 100%, or I've cut my deficit or my time down by 50%. And so imagine doing that all day long. One button to do 2 button clicks or 3 button clicks plus the movement of the mouse. So that's where the Stream Deck brings in its value. And so then I can just go to 00 with those 3 highlighted. Well, first I got to make sure that Chief is the center focused thing, 00. So now I've got all the windows highlighted, and they're all different. So that's why it says no change, because this one's like a triple casement. These are single hung. So there's some things that are not correct here. But let's say that's a 9-foot ceiling, and I want to have this go up to 92 inches instead of 80. Well, now all the windows just went up, and we can go see that. That door is going to look stupid. It's going to look low. Yep, there we go. For some reason, I just noticed that window's not showing. It's just the rough opening. There must be something weird going on. Anyways, that's about it. I can't think of much else. I guess we could create a, let's see, did either of these have? They do. Okay, so 5140. 5140 is the camera that looks that way. So I'm going to create a button right here. And it depends if you're, like on the Mac, I can use text. You drag it there. You come here and, I don't know. I call it cam for now. Whoops. Cam for now, I guess. 5140. And there's that background, whatever that thing is there. So I typically, I'll go over here. I keep this black background right here, and I just drop that on there. And that, so now it says cam, right? And it's live. So now if I'm over here and I don't know, whatever I'm doing, whatever, and I want to see this, I just push the cam button. Ready? 3, 2, 1, push. And now cam is active. See how fast that was? I didn't have to go up and do anything. So that was kind of cool. I might actually keep that one. I'll probably put it in a different spot though. That's kind of I don't know. I'll have to reevaluate this because I've got multiple pages of stuff. Doors. Oh wow. So I've got the calculator thing. Okay, let me try that. I need to use Construction Master. Boom. There it is. I need to use this RPN calculator. Boom, there it is. All right, that's cool. What else do I have hiding out in here? I got all kinds of stuff. So I guess what I'll do is I'll put a link to the icons I've created. You're welcome to use them or make your own. I tried to use the Chief actual ones, but they're I like a dark mode more because my office is kind of dim, and theirs were all made for bright, so it wasn't what I liked. Anyways, I'm gonna end this one and upload it. So I hope that helps.